I actually am a defense contractor working out of Oceana, supporting our tactical warfare, our air fighters, basically the guys and gals that drive those Super Hornets. I turn them into better fighter pilots, and you can talk with me offline about that and how I achieved that. I'm also a life member of the Veteran of Forum. Oh, and I stopped. Right.
Hi everyone, I'm Dave Hutchison. I'm your councilman for District 1 right now. Real quick, I grew up in Kempsville my whole life. When I moved into Woodstock, it was a gravel road. I went to Woodstock Elementary, Kemps Landing before it was an apartment building, with middle school and the high school, the whole 9 yards. Then I got into the fire department. Spent 35 years there. I finished as the fire chief. I have myself, my wife is in the back. She was a crisis counselor for Beach Site. My one son is in the Navy. He serves as a pilot in Pensacola. My other son is a master firefighter here in the city. So, as you can see,
your mic went down.
it happens almost every one of these. We can talk more later. Y'all kind of
Should be on.
Is there some way it goes off after a certain amount of seconds?
No. Should be on. There you go.
Got it?
battery may be dead.
No. Give him that one. Let me have the other one.
Okay.
Let me have it.
I think we'll pass this one around. Good evening. My name is Michael Berlucci, and I serve as a council member from District 3. If you're not sure where District 3 is, think about Lynn Haven, Mount Trashmore, parts of Kempsville. I'm a lifelong resident of Virginia Beach, and serving on our council is the greatest and highest honor and responsibility of my life. There are many issues we could talk about today, but I know one that's of primary concern to you is low taxes and affordability of Virginia Beach. Both of my opponents, who are not here tonight, have stated their support for unionization. They've stated that support without even knowing how much it will cost to implement or how much it will cost to implement the results of those negotiations. With the rising inflation, the cost of everything, taxes going up, we need elected leaders and representation who will at least make sure that we understand what the financial implications are before they vote to raise your taxes. That's exactly what I did. I look forward to continuing to work for you to stand the gap, keep taxes low, and make sure Virginia Beach is affordable.
Hi, LG Shaw, born and raised here in Virginia Beach, running for Council District 5, basically 17th Street to about Sandbridge Road. District 5 didn't exist when I was little, but this is where we are now. I'm a local business owner, so I understand what being fiscally responsible means. We're one of the largest surfboard manufacturers on the East Coast. My family has wave riding vehicles, a popular beach destination. I understand tourism because of that. I understand the needs and wants of the locals that are not opposite of the tourists, but they are opposed sometimes. I know what it means to make payroll. I know what it means to be an owner-operator of properties, to get building permits. I've dealt with all of these city challenges from the other side of the street, and I believe I can bring some new processes and improvements to this while trying to keep payroll down across the city and keep costs down for all of our residents. So, thank you very much.
Hey, Rosemary.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Rosemary Wilson, and I am running for re-election in District 5, and currently the vice mayor of the council. Elections have consequences. We hear that every year, don't we? But for our city, it's never been more true than this year, because unions are on the line. We've got to be really careful, and everyone here should know where I stand, because I've taken a public vote against collective bargaining and unions. We do not need union bosses from Chicago, Detroit, to be telling us how to run our city. You know, we just gave the firefighters $800,000 so they could have screening for cancer. And we were happy to do that because of what they do for us. But if they had a contract with us, they would probably have to wait 3 years to be able to have gotten that. So we really need to hold the line, and you know where I stand on collective bargaining.
Hello everyone, I'm Cash Green. I'm a candidate for District 7. I'm endorsed by the PBA. I'm endorsed by the Thin Blue Line. I'm endorsed by the Virginia Beach Hotel Association. I'm endorsed by the Hampton Road Chamber of Commerce. I'm a fighter. I'm a negotiator. It's what I do. District 7 is missing a rec center. Literacy is everything. I'm a board member on the library board. I believe in it. We've had some murders in January and March, and I think we had one in April. It's time for a person like me to represent District 7. And that's what I'm going to bring to you, the ability to get the job done. So District 7 has been the forgotten district, but here comes Cash Green. I'm running to put more cash green in your pockets, but I'm also running to make sure District 7 will not be forgotten. Thank you.
Cash, could you pass that mic down there? One of the mics anyway. Okay, thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Mobensi Scott. I am running for Virginia Beach City Council representing District 7. When it comes down to politics, it's not something new to me. My grandfather was a chief, which is equivalent to a mayor. And I also have other family members who's currently a mayor and a council member. My grandfather implemented leadership, also teaching me how to be there for the community. So as I got older, I decided, you know what, I have a passion to serve. I went and got my education in political science, my bachelor, my master's in government with a concentration of policy and law. I'm here for the people. I want to be there, and I have been there. I worked as a legislative aide, but before that, I was a volunteer. I have dedicated my time, my effort, and I'm going to continue doing so because of the love that I have for Virginia Beach. Thank you.
Okay, Leland?
Hey everybody, my name is Leland Jones. I'm running for City Council District 8. That encompasses Short Drive, First Colonial, the beach, the boulevard, Virginia Beach Boulevard, and then up, kind of up. Oh,
Yep,
okay,
sure.
there we go. And then kind of up the, what is it?
Boulevard?
No, the boulevard. It's a big, yeah, it's kind of like Great Neck. Well, Great Neck's over there. Anyways, that's the district, okay? So I'm running for city council because I believe in the people and families and small businesses. I'm a small business owner. I own Ceramic King Coatings, and I started as a one-man band out here and grew it into a multi-million-dollar operation. I employ people here. I employ citizens in Virginia Beach, and I am beholden to nobody, no special interest, and I'm here to provide fiscal responsibility like I do in business, and also take care of our constituents by being a leader that listens. So if you want to make a decision, I look forward to your questions. Vote Leland Jones, a leader that listens.
Bill?
Good evening. My name is Phil Hines. Thank you to the Virginia Beach Tea Party for putting this on. A little bit about me. I am a Hampton Roads native, originally from Smithfield. Went to ODU and been in Virginia Beach since 2012 as a homeowner. That being said, if you know anything about Smithfield, it's a very small town, so had to come out here a lot as a kid. I played travel baseball for the Tidewater Drillers and worked my way through college while at ODU. So Virginia Beach is home. And I have some skin in the game. My wife and I have 4 kids. We live in Thalia near Steinhilbers. And my message has been pretty simple since January when I started this campaign. I think Virginia Beach needs more responsible spending and more responsible development. And truthfully, that's what I hear from a lot of people when I'm talking. We need someone that wants to do the work, someone that has experience working on commissions and boards with the city, which I've been doing, and we can get it done. So Phil Hines, City Council District 8, thank you for the opportunity to be here.
Stacy?
Hi, I'm Stacy Cummings. Tonight we hear a lot about my platform, not just from me, but from the other candidates here tonight, especially from these 2. Before I decided to run for District 8 council position, I met with several of our city's leaders, including elected, business, and civic. I've researched how to best address the serious issues they raise facing the city. I wrote out my platform and released it even before I made my announcement to run back in April, so that people could see I understood and had given considerable thought to them and wasn't just learning as I go. Even John Moss, known for his attention to detail, has said I'm running on a platform he agrees with. This one, initially, and still mostly is, running on building a bike path. This one over here, running on leadership that listens. I don't know about leadership, but I know he's listening because he's been listening to my platform and adopted it for his own. And the one that disrespected you for not being here tonight, God knows what he's running on, but he doesn't believe in God and he mocks my Jesus as a cross-dresser.
Okay. All right. So much for the opening statements. We will now start with the questioning. Reminder, calling out your opponents gives them an extra 30 seconds. Do either of you want to respond to what he said? No, he called you out. You didn't have to say your name. He pointed. The accent never goes away.
I hope we can talk about the bike trail and redevelopment and developing in a responsible manner, because I do think that's a big part of the future of Virginia Beach. So I really appreciate you bringing that up, and let's jump into it.
It's comical. Stacey had to write it down so he could remember what his advisors told him to say. The other thing is, if we want to talk about leadership, you know, it's funny because Stacey's campaign, I put up a billboard over there on Shore Drive, and the next thing I know, and his own team said, oh, dude, nobody's doing billboards. And the next thing I know, he's got a billboard up. Anyways, talk about leadership. That's following. I'm leading. I'm here to listen to the constituents and lay out my platform. And by the way, I don't even know what your website says. I haven't been to it. So thank you very much. Let's talk.
Can you pass that microphone up this way? Because we're going to start our first question with, no, you don't get a rebuttal on that. All you do when you call somebody else out is give them more time. It doesn't give you any time. Okay, so the first question is going to go to HUD, right? So they just did the comprehensive plan, and in it they were talking about putting mini town centers all over the city connected by light rail or transit like light rail. Do you support light rail in Virginia Beach?
Should I probably stand, I guess?
You can.
I'm sorry, I was messing with the mic, but I think the question was about transit in different pockets of the city. Is that right?
Yeah, they were talking about connecting all these little mini town centers all over the city by transit like light rail. Now, they shouldn't have, in my opinion, we said no to light rail, should not even been in the comp plan.
Right. From what I remember that saying is it was more of the last mile and stuff from bus line HRT, doesn't say TRT, HRT. So that would be something that I would think we should consider as far as getting people the last mile from their to their work, so that we can help the employees get there. But I don't think light rail is even in the future. It's nothing in the future. It's not for the bike for Virginia Beach Trail. It's not in there or anything like that. So just to be clear, as far as if we're talking about moving our folks from pick a development and we needed to get them to the ocean front, well, a bus line that would do that or something, I would certainly be for.
Okay. Michael?
Do I support light rail in Virginia Beach? No.
Thank you. Said the right thing.
Was part of the question building more town centers, or are you talking
No,
about
I'm
community?
talking, that's what the comp plan said, was putting these mini, high-density developments all over the city and connecting them by light rail. Since we opposed light rail, we want to know whether
As a
you are.
referendum.
You are
Yes,
going
we
to.
did.
Yeah, no, we
Killed it.
said no to light rail. Multimodal path seems like the goal at this point. You know, that the budget has to get there, but no, on light rail, I don't think we need to finish off. I hope we're not advocating to create more and more town centers around the city. We need to finish off the projects that we have underway that are underfunded. It will probably take decades longer than expected due to inflation. But no, on adding a light rail into that equation.
Rosemary?
The voters have spoken. They said no to light rail. And I always said I was going to do what the voters said, which is to say no to light rail. And you're ahead of me. I haven't seen this part of the comp plan.
So when it comes to the light rail, in speaking to the residents in District 7, which is Regent, College Park, Stumpy Lake, Honeybee Golf Course, they love to drive their own cars. So the residents have spoken, I've listened, And so, no on light rail. I mean, that's simple. The residents have spoken.
If light rail is going to decrease our traffic, and if it's going to help, I support it. You know, I'm sorry that certain citizens refuse a light rail, but we do have other citizens that want a light rail to help decrease traffic. So I do support it.
Okay? Leland.
So as a leader that listens, the people have spoken and they don't want it. So I would oppose bringing on a light rail. And the other reason why is because of fiscal responsibility. Our current council does have a pattern of spending money irresponsibly, chasing shiny new toys. If the people say no, and it spends more tax dollars, we should talk more about lowering real estate taxes. And not lowering real estate taxes from 99 cents to 97 cents, and then boasting about how much of fiscal relief we've had in taxes, and then increasing our wastewater too. It's a fake tax relief, okay? I'm here to deliver true tax relief, listen to the people, and if you guys vote or ask, whether it be in a referendum or just speaking with me, I am a leader that listens, and so if you guys want your voices heard, vote for Leland Jones. Thank you.
Bill.
Yeah, I don't support light rail, and as was mentioned, I do, however, support the bike trail, which is something the public overwhelmingly supports. It's been planned for 40 plus years. You know, the city's talking. I'm chair of the Parks and Rec Commission. We're now finally going to, I think, do something about Rudy Park, and so you know, connecting the city on the train tracks that we own to the beach and providing a safe way for people to get around town. I think that's a good thing. So the light rail, no. Old technology, too expensive. People didn't want it. So that's an easy one.
Stacy.
I'm opposed to light rail, and I was opposed to light rail before the referendum came out. The problem with one of the problems with the light rail is that it didn't go anywhere. It did not connect the city. The new comprehensive plan needs to forget about light rail because it's not going to happen. It's a dead issue. People have spoken. People have said that they want to use their automobiles to get to where they're going. We need to take that into account in our comprehensive plan. We need to make our throughways more accessible and easier to travel. We don't need light rail.
Brian. I wonder if it just...
To emphasize what Michael said, no.
Okay. So still on the comprehensive plan, are you in favor of 15-minute cities to get from, you know, wherever they live to wherever they're going? So, in other words, that's a transit question. What would you do with transit, Michael?
You're way ahead on the comprehensive. This is going out.
It's working.
You're way ahead on the comprehensive plan than I am, Diane. So, but I will say that it's important to think about how we move around the community. So I'm for transportation that involves bikes, pedestrian. I'm particularly interested in pedestrian and bicycle safety in our neighborhoods and all around the community. But Tommy Cash stated it well. People of Virginia Beach, they really like driving in their cars. They really like walking in their neighborhood and cycling. The first and foremost thing I think we need to focus on is pedestrian and bicycle safety. I serve the area around Mount Trashmore. There's people walking and riding their bikes all over, and there's accidents. You just have to look at the headlines and see pedestrian struck, bicyclist struck. I want to make sure that if you're out there on the street walking, riding bikes, that you're safe. And I think that should be our top priority always before we start thinking about fancy solutions.
One thing I said, please turn your phones down. LG.
I'll echo what Michael said there. I grew up at the oceanfront, near the oceanfront in Chatelawn, and there's not a single sidewalk from growing up, even to this day, that connects any of the neighborhoods that feed into Cook Elementary, much less Lakehorns all the way up Alaska, which is on the demand. But it's certainly an aspirational goal. but it does not seem achievable in any of our lifetimes. The pedestrian safety and connectivity, the multimodal as the buzzword, which just means bikes and people, and whatever e-scooter comes out next, but continuing to improve connectivity from parking centers to business centers is a good idea, not taking up our entire budget to do that.
Okay, Rosemary? Is this working?
It is.
I think if you like push it up.
No, it's just, it should be
Not
working.
working?
It should be working.
Wow.
I support that.
Thank you. I'm really impressed with all of the comprehensive questions because we really haven't seen any of this, but I think everybody would like to have everything close to them within 15 minutes. That would be a great lifestyle for everyone to have. I will tell you that, talking about bicycles, I sponsored several resolutions for biking, so that whenever we repave a new road, that we make it a little bit wider, so there's bike lanes when we're doing a repaving, and just that alone has added 120 miles of bike lanes in our city. So we all want to be able to live, work, and play close by. I think that's what the town center has done really well. But yet at the same time, the people who want to live out in Pungo and they want to live in a farm area, we offer so many things in the city. And I look forward to seeing this comp plan, Diane.
Okay. Yeah.
So the smart traffic camera system is something I'm interested in. In my district, there is a McDonald's and there is a TCC student who suggested a brilliant plan. And so one of the things that I'm going to do once I get into office is to listen to our college students, our community college students specifically. They've got some ideas on smart traffic patterns. I just don't understand the leadership when it comes to clog and it's just staying in traffic. Well, guess what? I've got some college kids that I'm going to listen to and implore their ideas. When it comes to pedestrians, this is a #1 plus. We need to have more safety when it comes to crosswalks. Thank you.
So Binti.
So I do support transportation. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Like I stated earlier, we do have high traffic in our areas. We need to find things that's easier for people to navigate and move around. We got to think about our college students, our kids that want to go to the recreation center or just go down the street to just shop. You guys are not paying my.
Yeah,
Okay.
speak into it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we got to make things easier for them. We need to find a plan that will work, that will not clog up the city, but will be able to help us have some type of transportation can move around.
Leland.
So the question is on a 15-minute city. So I can't even drive from one side of my district in District 8 to the other side of District 8 in 15 minutes. And that has to do with the transportation. Now, making it a 15-minute city, our city's actually conducted surveys on this over the last 3 years. It's been around a 20 to 22-minute commute on average for citizens in Virginia Beach to and from work. And so to get that down would take, a lot of work. It can be done, but it needs to be done fiscally, responsibly. And we need to kind of break it up into different things. We have the public safety side of it, right? Crosswalks, connectivity, and also parking, okay? If you're driving somewhere and you get to your destination, it might take 15 minutes just to park, right? So there's different facets of that question to make it a 15-minute city that needs to be a collective. And maybe we look at our city auditors to see what is going on right now, what's working and what's not. So that's what I'm about.
Bill.
Could you repeat the question for me?
Okay. Are you in favor of 15-minute city? Does Virginia Beach fit into that category? So, it's kind of going with the comp plan where they want to connect all these, strategic growth areas and around the city, you know, so if not light rail, what?
Right, okay. So first off, as a certified planning commissioner in Virginia Beach, I do not support the national push for the 15-minute smart cities. It's a state and national push. National Association of Realtors is pushing. I'm a realtor and appraiser, so I'm pretty in tune with that. If we're going to do a planned community, build it however you want with condos, townhomes, and single family and all the parks, but we really can't retrofit our suburban neighborhoods. We are what we are. We have to manage our growth. Now, I think I'm one of the few people up here that's made a pledge, maybe the only one, to not take developer contributions, not because I don't like development. I just think there should be, you know, we need to have someone with an objective opinion making decisions on council. So as far as the strategic growth areas go, yeah, I think some of those are good. Again, we can build along Virginia Beach Boulevard very responsibly as it connects to the bike trail. But this business of retrofitting, which is really what the 15-minute cities is all about, which is about rezoning neighborhoods, I do not support that. I'll stand up for the established suburban neighborhood.
Stacy?
Our city is 60 years old, and when we started developing our city, it was a county, a city, oceanfront, and so there was not a lot of forethought put into how we developed. It was pretty much a hodgepodge. Was the way that we built our city. To go and try to connect all of these hodgepodges is going to be very expensive, and it really we don't lay ourselves out well to do that. It's great to have bike paths. We need sidewalks in many more of our communities. You know, Little Neck has a wonderful bike path. The bike path that goes along Cape Story and Cape Henry Shores, wonderful places. It leads to a vibrant neighborhood. And I would support doing that within the neighborhoods, but trying to connect these different neighborhoods throughout the vast expanse of West Virginia Beach is just not feasible.
Okay, Ryan?
I use my marine voice. That's fine. Working when I gave it to you. I'm going to say this right now. So, you know, everyone that's been speaking here about bike paths, interconnectivity, absolutely. I think we're all in agreement with that. Okay? But the whole idea of a 15-minute transit time, no matter where you're at, I think is an intellectually dishonest argument.
Of course it is.
Okay? Because we all know that in Virginia Beach, right?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously. So a lot of these issues are Commonwealth driven. They're Federal Highway Administration driven. Okay? So to ask a council member what they're going to do about a 15-minute transit, excuse me. Right?
That's
We're going to do the best we can. But all you have to do is look at Laskin Road, look at Oceana Boulevard, which I go to every day when I go to work. All right, we're going to do the best we can. But don't expect a perfect answer. You're not going to get it.
You're right.
Thank you.
Hey, so when we're talking about from sidewalks and stuff like that, I'm working with the city manager right now to start to come up with a plan that we can put some change towards some stuff that we can start to connect the neighborhoods first. Because like we're all saying, everybody up here, is that the sidewalks have not been there since it's Stacy said, since the 60s. We've been doing this, but what?
Tapping. On the mic.
Hold on, I gotta get some time back here.
Sorry.
So,
Yeah.
it's all right.
You're like about that band.
Well, actually, just a point. I just wanted to get that noted. Did I get some extra? Sidewalks, when we can use them, our neighborhood, Woodstock doesn't have them, there's lots of us that don't. We need to do that. Public safety's in my heart. We need to make sure that we're taking care of that. As everybody has already said, that's the one thing about going last. We have lots of issues with trying to figure out how to get us from one neighborhood to the other when it doesn't take you 30 minutes to go across your district and stuff like that. That's always a pain. Nobody wants to do that. So if we can do something to assist with that, whether it is bike lanes, sidewalks, whatever that is, I do think we should look at it. It's incumbent on us as council. That's our job, to clear those hurdles and make things safer and more efficient for everybody. I just believe that.
Okay, so the first question is going to LG this time. There's a lot of questions here on the Atlantic Park. They spent so much money, city has flood repair needs, you know, and the aquarium needs money and everything. Who's going to be managing it? And so forth. What is your opinion on Atlantic Park? When are we going to get a return on our investment?
I'd be a very rich man if I knew the answer to exactly when the ROI will come in on that one. But Atlantic Park, the city put out an RFP for it. That was obviously before I was on council. I'm running to be on council.
We supported it.
Yeah, my family, my family business, We Rented Vehicles, will be the operator of rental equipment and lessons at the pool. I think, we've got some serious projects coming down the pipe. The Virginia Aquarium, I think that was some serious missteps were taken there. The private group that funds that has raised over $100 million through the years. The $200+ million that they laid out obviously needs to be dissected and figured out what the needs are there, but to let that jewel of Virginia Beach fall down and be privatized would be, I believe, would be short-sighted. We need to look at that in a different way. Atlantic Park, we've got the parking decks coming online. The city put out RFQs for. We're out of time. Sorry.
Okay, Rosemary. Okay, let me think. There was
my question.
several there.
What was Dean's?
Tell us why Atlantic Park and why spending so much money when our city has flood needs and the aquarium needs money, and they want to know if Corella's going to be involved. Are you going to be managing the wave pool at the ocean front and retail stores there? And if you weren't on council, would you have voted for it?
There's a lot wrapped up in that question and answer in a minute.
There was more than one.
But
Just get mine.
Atlantic Park, it sat there dormant and we tried to get something there for years and years and years, and nothing came through. A lot of different projects came up and they died. And a lot of you are probably my age to remember the dome and that particular area. But we do see it as a game changer. We do see it as something that's going to absolutely make a difference. And tourism lowers your tax rate by $17 million. And this is going to be able to make it more of a year-round destination. The aquarium, we've been working very hard with the foundation. We've come up with some things that we all agree upon. We're working on an MOU with the foundation so that we can be able to do more. And the foundation has agreed to step up and do more because we are losing $0.7 million on the aquarium, and that doesn't money that has to go into the CIP of $2 million a year, plus the renovations it's going to be needing.
Okay, Cash.
So I like Atlantic Park and I like Pharrell, but this is what I would say. I think that the consultation needs to be with the hotel association. I think that they need to have more input, right? Because we are going to bring more tourists to Virginia Beach, and I think that's important for Virginia Beach. We are on track to being the #1 tourist destination, and it will help us in our taxes. But listen to this. Involve the people that are already here, just like the aquarium. The foundation, I'm a big believer in the foundation. Right? I think that they can manage the aquarium. But I think we need to understand what they are doing behind the scenes. I think they need more collaboration with the city and the city with the foundation. Long story short, cash is all about getting more cash green in our pockets. And that's one way that makes it happen, then I'm for it.
If I was in council, I will support the Atlantic Park. But my only problem is the funding that was given to Atlantic Park. My district does not have a recreation center. There's other needs that we have to put our funding to. Of course, it will help our economic growth, but I just honestly believe that the funding that was given to Atlantic Park is a little too high when we have other areas that needed to be funded.
Leland.
Virginia Beach is more than the ocean front, okay? Now, here's my position on this. I'm running on fiscal responsibility, and this is what the constituents are saying, okay? We have a ton of city assets that are losing money. It's not just the aquarium. Aquarium, $300 million in deferred maintenance. We also have our golf course. I don't know if you guys have gone there, the National Golf Course. I was there last week. Dilapidated, mold growing on everything. It's run down. Okay, we have our sports center losing money every year. We paid for not one, not two, not three, but 7 independent studies to kick the can down the road to identify how we can make more money by putting a hotel, and it keeps getting kicked down the road. By the way, a minority developer that wants to build hotels by the sports center and convention center. But I digress, okay? What we need is fiscal responsibility. I would have opposed the wave park because we have too many city assets that are being mismanaged, and they need to be managed properly before we start chasing the next shiny new toy.
Bill?
Is there a question about the aquarium or just the?
It was part of that as, we don't have enough money for the aquarium and flooding and that, and we put like $300 million into the wave pool.
All right. So where we are at this point is it's happening. So I think we all should be supportive of the project because it's happening. I'd rather turn into an excellent investment and thing for the community than be like maybe sports arenas across the country. That being said, if I was on council, given especially what I know now with the high risk we as taxpayers are taking and the low equity, I wouldn't have voted for it. I think there's a lot of other better uses with our funds. And I mean, look, quite honestly, I know it's sort of a complicated relationship with, Pharrell, but there was supposed to be a music festival a week or two ago, and then they just bailed. So I think we need to be very careful who we're doing public-private partnerships with. It's an issue we have in the city. It's been going on for a long time. So wouldn't have voted for it, but it's happening. And, I do want to see it be successful because it's either that or go negative, and I don't want to do that.
Stacy?
I don't necessarily think it's fair to ask the people that weren't on council to say how they would have voted without having all the background information. So, but having said that, I'll address public-privates in general. Okay, I would never support a public-private venture that did not have a reasonable rate of return to the citizens on day one. I would not support a public-private venture that was not for the benefit of the citizens in the long run. The problem with Atlantic Park is it was a bad deal. Not saying it's a bad project, but it is, but it's a bad deal. The city got out-negotiated. We need somebody on city council that knows how to negotiate a contract, that knows how to negotiate with these developers. Don't blame the developers. Blame the people on council that allowed this bad deal to happen. We were presented with the opportunity to invest in that deal. We said, no, that's a bad deal. I'll tell you what's a really good deal. It's the bonds. And the bonds are bad for the city. They're a great deal for the investors, but it's a bad deal for the city.
Amen to that.
Ryan?
That's fine. There's a lot of things that have been said here, certain parts that I absolutely agree with. Yeah, I do think that was a bad deal at Atlantic Park, but at the same time, I wouldn't be here right now if I wasn't a direct representation of the taxpaying blue-collar person. All right? You have to be mildly insane to get in politics to begin with. Okay? I believe that. Yeah, and I've gone ahead and done that, but as a blue-collar taxpaying person, I don't think that was the most judicious use of our funds. Okay? Not when we need 40 ambulances, not when we have E911 problems, not when we have sidewalks that have potholes in them. There's certain things that we as sons and daughters of Virginia Beach need to put our money towards, and I don't know if that was the best thing to do, okay? But at the same time, I'm going to tell you right now, every time I vote, it will be with you in mind, because I'm one of you. I'm a son of Virginia Beach, I grew up here, and nothing is more important to me than my city by the beach and our fiscal solvency. Thank you.
So, like a lot of us came on after the project had started for the pond, for the pool. I said from then that as a firefighter, when you have arsenic, we've got to take care of it. And we're going to wear this around our neck if we don't improve this problem. Having the liaisons have more, anytime you have a problem, a death or any fatality on a fire scene or anything like that, it comes down to communication. Our liaisons have got to be in communication all the time with them. I got 30 seconds left, so I'm going to switch to, just like I said, if you saw in the workshop the other day with Pharrell and the concerts and everything, the party coming, is that our liaisons have to be in contact with them all the time and make sure that they understand what's going on. And I said to this person, you've got to hit your marks. We got to know when it starts, when the contract's going to be signed, when the folks are coming. They all have to be done so that public safety and everybody can be ready. Thanks.
Mike?
Thank you. I don't have enough time in 1 minute to get into any specific project with the aquarium, but one thing I really want to share with you is that as a council member, I'm pro-business. That doesn't mean I'm every pro-public-private partnership, but what it means is that I'm pro-business. I'm pro-entrepreneurism, I'm pro-big business, and I'm pro-small business. And the reason that I feel so strongly about that is because I'm pro-prosperity, because I'm pro-liberty, because I understand that free enterprise and creating wealth and opportunity creates opportunities for families. It unlocks the potential that exists for each of us to fulfill our full potential. I want the people of Virginia Beach to have a free chance to compete, to bring their ideas forward, to be entrepreneurial, to work for a business, create a business, and to be wealthy and prosperous in Virginia Beach so that they can fulfill their dreams. That's what I want to do, and I know that's what all of you want to do. And I think that's the pro-liberty, pro-freedom position, pro-business, and pro-community. Thank you.
Rosemary, tax relief is paramount for beach residents. So moving forward, when we do these projects, are you gonna like make sure that they have a business plan or something that's going to like not put all the burden on the taxpayers for the future?
Give it a mic. Mike. Just turn it on.
It's on. It's on.
No, it's not. You gotta press the button. Yep.
A lot of times what you read in the paper is not the full story. Most of the things that we approve, there's always a return on the investment, and it's but for money. We would not have invested in it if it wasn't going to return the money, plus more, which will be investing in our city. We do always take into consideration the taxes and the taxpayers. When the bond referendum passed, it was 4.1 cents. That we could have raised the real estate rate that much, but we didn't. We absorbed that 4.1 cent that year. This year, you know, you've got to remember, there's 11 members of council, and we have to have 8 votes to be able to pass a budget because of the CIP. We did reduce the rate by 2 cents. Would it have been nice to have been more? Yes, but we have certain people, I don't need to name names, you might give them 30 seconds. They wouldn't even, it was all we could do to get them to go down to 2 cents.
That's a
Cash.
When it comes to taxes, I think we need to have negotiators that are sitting on city council. It's what I do every day. I negotiate, even though it's their second largest purchase, I make sure when they leave with some cash green in their pockets, either with a better deal or they leave with the experience, the quality of life being better. I think council needs to look to people who are professionals when it comes to, if I give you something, right, which is supposed to be a quality of life, when it comes to taxes, I want to make sure that the citizens of Virginia Beach don't have a empty or sour stomach. Even though the budget is balanced, we don't feel that way, right? This is why you need to put Cash Green into office. Cash Green for District 7, let me put your quality of life first and let me reduce your taxes. And I know how to do it by negotiating a better deal.
When it comes down to taxes, it's definitely a burden for everyone. I am willing to work with our city manager, our council, to figure out programs to help decrease our tax. Also, I think it's very important to be very transparent where our money is going, you know? Yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot my train of thoughts. But I'm just willing to take burden out when it comes down to taxes. I know what I was going to say. Just came back in my head. Basically, I wanted to bring investors that will bring economic growth to our city and that will help decrease our tax.
Leland.
There's currently 13 sources of revenue for our city through taxes, whether it be the meal tax, the tip tax, the real estate tax, property tax, the list goes on. That's too much damn tax, okay? We are taxed into oblivion, and it needs to stop. How do we control, on a macroeconomic scale, our taxes? We have to control spending. No more reckless spending, no more new shiny toys. Take care of the assets, produce an ROI. I'm a small business owner and an international distributor for automotive products across North America in US, Mexico, and Canada. I deal with contracts in the millions all the time. If you want to talk about business and fiscal responsibility, getting the job done, putting a deal together, that's what you get with me, okay? If we want to see an ROI, that will translate in reducing your taxes. If real estate taxes are the #1 contributor, it's over 36% of our entire revenue for the city is real estate tax, then those people that pay real estate tax should be the ones getting the relief first, not a new shiny toy. And by the way, that's not in Stacy's website.
You're going to give him 30 seconds.
I got 30 seconds.
Kids gave him 30 seconds.
Gave him 30 seconds.
I thought you didn't read his website.
I didn't. I don't know what's on it.
How do you know it's on his website?
Because he hasn't talked about it yet. Go ahead, Stacy, 30 seconds.
Look, the fact is that the best way to reduce our tax burden is by bringing new business into the city. Right now, 30% of what we get in revenue is from real estate taxes. Only 14% of that comes from businesses. We need to bring in new businesses so we can get that up to 25, 35%. In a beach community, it can even be 50%. That will give a lot of tax relief to our citizens. That will also give us the ability to keep our kids home by providing new jobs. And I'll take my minute.
Question is, how do we reduce taxes? Is that basically the question?
Yeah, basically.
Okay. For a few things. First off, I think I'm the only candidate in my race, at least, that's actually done that. I serve on a tax appeals board. Anyone that wants to appeal their property assessment with the city, whether it's a homeowner or a hotel or whatever, can come to the board that I serve on. And last year, for the first time, we vetoed the assessor. So we've been doing that. There is a way to do it within the property tax system. First off, I'm chair of the Parks and Rec Commission. Okay, many of you, if you go to the rec center, you know you get a very, very fantastic deal. We as taxpayers subsidize it's probably about $10 to $20 million in low rec membership fees. So as chair, one of the things that I'm going to bring forward to the commission is that we really raise those fees. I mean, we don't need to double them, but they need to go up maybe just a few bucks or something, because as you and I are subsidizing the rec centers or something like that. Secondly, we do need economic development, and that's why I've been a proponent of redeveloping the boulevard to bring in that new business.
Stacy.
The other issue on these public-privates are, when we're negotiating these deals, okay, to get a return on investment, if we say we're going to invest $70 million, let's cap it at $70 million. Let's tell the developer, Mr. Developer, we're in for $70 million, here's our check. Anything over that is on you.
Amen.
Okay? That's called a design-build contract. We do it all the time, priority, build a lot of buildings that way. Okay? You fix the cost, you fix the price that we're going to be in for. Everything else is on you, Mr. Developer. And if you don't want to develop a piece of property, that's fine. We'll go to another project. But we can't keep doing these projects where it's 70 million, 90 million, 110 million, 150 million. So that's one way that we can make sure that we're getting a good return on our investment and lowering our taxes to the citizens of Virginia Beach.
Ryan.
Again, I've heard a lot of things that I agree with, some things I don't, but I can tell you right now, the way to reduce taxes, it's actually very simple, okay? So, first of all, we have a very antiquated tax, affectionately known as the vehicle tax, all right, from the War of 1812, okay? Last I checked, General Andrew Jackson won that in the Battle of New Orleans over 200 years ago. Don't think we need that tax right now, okay? But, because you don't want a massive hit, you need to phase that out over time, okay? Slowly. And you do that, and at the same time, 2-cent reduction from a 99% tax, or 99 cents for every 100 assessed is good. By coming down to 97 cents, outstanding. I think we can do better, okay?
Absolutely.
Net neutral was 92 cents.
Correct.
I'd like to see us get to 94, 95 cents. Now, I know it takes 6 votes to make that happen, but I think we can because we've got a lot of wasteful spending in the city. I think we can do it. So a gradual phase out of the default tax and also lowering the property assessment tax, I think we can do it.
Pass it down.
So I've tried to tell everybody that
Diana, we need the speaker. It's not coming through.
We can't hear if you use the mic.
Yeah, can you
turn
pass?
it- just
we'll
turn
pass
it on.
down. Pass it down. Whatever works.
People back here can't hear.
No, it's not.
No. Do this one.
Turn it on.
Robert Coxon there ourselves.
This one's got a full battery.
Yay.
All right. So, I was trying to say that I've got 2 things going for me here, y'all. One is I came up through the fire department, very fiscally conservative. It's how we roll. I came up, my mom is, we just celebrated 47 years as a business with Greenbrier Floors. My sister's now the owner. So I like to tell everybody, I've had to ask for $1 million to buy a fire engine, and I've had to sell enough peonies and roses to buy Ford Transits and make payroll on Friday. It's not easy. I'm very respectful of the taxpayers' dollars. I think we have to be good stewards. You're right, the 2-cent tax did not bring it down to neutral. But as has been stated, it was something that we were able to accomplish. And I would say that myself and the vice mayor were 2 of the ones that originally started it. Right? Is it everything we would like to have had happen? No. Did everybody get on board? Yes, they did. Can we do more? I think we can. We do have to pay attention to our spending. It's important, but I do think I have a really good understanding of what that means.
That's what we're getting from the audience.
Okay. Please pass the mic because online people can't hear you.
Well, thank you. One of the reasons that I expressed earlier that I'm pro-business, in addition to the reasons that I talked about unlocking our potential and making sure that we each have opportunity in this city and in this life, is that we need to work together to reduce the impact that the real estate tax has on homeowners and shift that to the commercial and business operators in that city by bringing more people in and creating a tax revenue stream from the commercial side that takes the relief off residential taxpayers. But what we also need to make sure we do is have council members who don't view that as a surplus to do projects and other things, but actually use that relief to provide the relief that people need, especially in this economic climate with inflation. I don't know about y'all, but my salary really hasn't gone up, and my costs have gone through the roof. And we need to make sure we are shifting that responsibility onto businesses away from the residential taxpayers.
I'll echo a little bit of what Hutch said there. It's not apples to apples running a family business to the city budget. There's a few more zeros behind Virginia Beach city budget than our business, but it does give you insight into those realities. And my top line is not as fixed as a city budget. We get a bad weather weekend, all of a sudden I lose 10% of my gross revenue for the year in the middle of summer. So having to be creative and mindful of the money that we're spending as a business echoes some of the things you have to do at the city. And giving $23 million parking decks to Pembroke private luxury apartments and overspending on redeveloping land that we already own at the oceanfront around Rudy Loop, and those things are, we need to be mindful of that. And when we're cutting taxes and then turn around and raising the utility costs to homeowners and HSRD and all the city workers all the city services that we provide, it actually negates some of those savings. Thank you.
Okay, so then now the first question will go to cash. Okay, taxpayers are not immune to the level of inflation. So if you are elected, what would be the first policy you would do to reduce the size of government?
So one of the policies that I would focus on, and this is very important for reducing taxes, is consolidating. And hear me out. I mean, we have, for our employees, we've got engineer 1, 2, 3. We need to consolidate some of the city jobs that we have. That's the only way that I can reduce the taxes as well as to increase our budget. We've got a lot of redundancies. And so I'm going to work with the city manager. I am going to look for redundancies. I'm going to look for places where I can sharpen our efficiency and see where I can trim. I'm going to run a green machine. I don't want to say thin, but I am going to run a machine where it's going to look for places where I can consolidate. 2 people can sometimes do one job. That's going to save us money. Thank you.
Can you repeat the question?
Yes, I put a couple of questions together. If you are elected, what would you do to reduce the size of the cost of government, since taxpayers are not immune to the increase in inflation?
Like I stated earlier, I have to work with the city manager to figure out what kind of policy can be put in place. I'll have to also educate the public, the residents, because it's very important for them to know. But I'm looking forward to do some type of audit so I can know where our funding is going. And once I get that in place, I'll be able to make that decision.
Leland.
Can you just give me that question one more time?
Okay.
It's like
so,
2 questions in one. I just want to understand
yeah,
it.
I know. I'm trying to put them together. Okay, so taxpayers are not immune from the cost of inflation.
Right.
If you are elected, what would be a policy that you would put in place to reduce the cost of government?
Okay, so to reduce the cost of anything is to control the spending. I know this as a small business owner. If I need to adjust for the cost of goods and services and labor, you have to look at what's coming in and what's going out. So if we're talking about reducing government, right? Is that
Reduce the size and scope of government, yeah.
okay? Gotcha. Okay, so one of the things.
Or the cost of government, yeah.
Sure. So this kind of ties into the big collective bargaining thing, right? That would be going in the opposite direction. Unionizing and costing taxpayers millions and millions of dollars in taxpayer money just to come to the table to just do the unionizing, right? So on the vice versa, one of my policies that I would like to see, it kind of mirrors the federal government in their pay scale and how you're paid. You can know exactly how you're paid when you work for the government. You're in O1, O2, or enlisted, or GS 1 through 15. Right, so if you can implement some sort of pay scale in the government workers, that could avoid and show upward mobility to make sure that the people understand exactly what they're being paid. So I think I'm answering the question, but I don't know. I think that's where I would go.
Bill?
How to curb the growth of government is kind of the idea. Yeah, it was something I was talking with a voter about today. First of all, I don't have a policy on that. Now, as far as cutting the cost of government, I think, like I said, my message is responsible spending, responsible development. There's a lot of technology out there. We can always be more efficient with how we are managing our processes through various departments. I mean, quite frankly, this may be more of a cultural issue, but one way to reduce the growth of government is entitlements. And so we have a level of that in our local government. That really, quite frankly, starts in the home. Entitlements increases the cost of our government, increases the amount of people we need in the government. So I think probably just having someone on council that's really focused on independence, personal liberty, and not preaching, but talking about self-reliance, not entitlements, because we're not going to get rid of the government if we have so many entitlements.
Stacy.
With all due respect to small businesses, and I do love small businesses, and they are very vital to our civilization. But I have been involved in a company that does have the same amount of zeros as the city budget. The Priority has a $1.5 billion budget. The city's budget's 2.7. 5 years ago, the city budget was $1.7 billion. 5 short years later, here it is at $2.6 billion, $2.7 billion. Okay. We don't have a revenue problem, we have a spending problem. And we find ways to spend that difference every single year. When I told my family I was running for city council, I get a phone call from my son. And he says, Dad, I'm sitting here at our Little League, and they're saying that they want to know if you're going to give them the same kind of grant they've gotten in the past. And I said, what kind of grant is that? I don't know anything about it. He goes, well, we get money from the city every day. And I go, that's ridiculous. People that are playing Little League should be paying for their own way. Yeah. We have way too many grants, way too much spending that's just left the council to dole out as they see fit. Shouldn't happen.
Brian? Sure. Taxpayers are not exempt from inflation. If you are elected, how will you budget tax relief and where was the rest of it? And what policies would you put in place to lower government? Lower the cost of government, yes.
Okay, so it starts with a top-down review. There's a lot of wasteful spending in Virginia Beach. I think we can all agree on that. Okay, and
Yeah.
can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right, here we go. No, there's a lot of wasteful spending in Virginia Beach government. Let me get that time back. And, honestly, when we sit there and we look at our property assessments every year, when we look at our personal property taxes every year, which is an onerous tax that should be eliminated, but that's at the state level, okay? But it funds at the city level. There's a lot of things that we can do, but eliminating wasteful spending, okay, is key. And, we don't have to have studies for everything under the sun. We have a professional city staff that can give us good results when they're queried, okay? And we need to go with that. Or, as a deliberative body, come up with decisions that make sense for the taxpaying public. It certainly isn't to go in on, and I've heard the term shiny new toy, but you can't sit there and spend the money as if it wasn't coming out of your own pocketbook. Because I can tell you right now, it's certainly coming out of mine. I know it's coming out of all of yours. And year after year after year, my home values have gone up by 35%. Okay? That means my property assessments have gone up. And I can't stroke a check. I have to fold that into escrow. I know you all are feeling that. I'm feeling it. Okay? So we need responsible fiscal government. And unlike my opponent, who claimed he was a fiscal conservative, I actually am against municipal collective bargaining because that is something that will drive taxes up.
Amen.
Got
Thank
an extra 30 seconds, but that's it.
So, okay. To start with, I want to give you what I did just do on council. Okay, that is when we had 17 firefighters that were coming on board. We were paying $4.5 million. Could you ask for a specific example, if I remember right? I know
What
10 times ago you asked for that. Yeah. So we have a $4.5 million forced overtime budget in the fire department right now currently. So I pushed for the hiring of an additional 15 to 17 firefighters so that we could reduce that $4.5 million because the straight rate pay is going to be less than the overtime pay. And it won't crush our people that are having to work multiple shifts. So that's one way to cut out about $4.5 million. I think I get an extra 30 seconds, don't I? Yeah. So, in addition to that, is like I said before, as far as being fiscally responsible, conservative, whichever way you want to say it, I am that, and I always have been through my fire department career, through the city. I'm driving a 2006 Ford pickup that my dad gave me before he died. So nobody's going to take that away from me about how I am as far as being fiscally responsible, because I am. So thank you.
Okay, Mike?
There we go.
Thank you. One of the most important things that we can do as a community is to be responsible with the resources that we provide the government as taxpayers. The other thing that we need to do is make sure that we're expanding the revenues that are available to fund the services that we all rely upon. And again, that's why I'm very committed to making sure that we are attracting and retaining and expanding small and large and medium-sized business opportunities in Virginia Beach so that we can increase the rate that the businesses are paying and lower the rate that individuals and residential taxpayers are paying. Fiscal responsibility is key. That's why I voted against unionization when both of my opponents have said that they will support it and they don't even know how much it's going to cost. So vote for Michael Berlucci and make sure that we keep taxes low and responsible stewards of your resources.
Some of this feeds back to the previous question of not overspending, right? I mean, it's as those inflationary pressures come onto us as citizens, the city has to feel that too, right? We've been talking about the pay of the firemen and the needs of the vehicles and the wear and tear on the city utilities. The schools breaking down and needing their maintenance, we're falling behind on that. We've got to not overspend. You know, we don't want to raise taxes. We've got to keep our taxes down and maintainable as citizens, and spending money recklessly is not the way to keep our taxes down.
Rosemary?
Well, number one, we need to say no to collective bargaining. Alexandria's tax rate went up 6 cents because of collective bargaining. We had no idea what it would cost here. So that's number one. One of the biggest problems that's facing us today is inflation as well. I will tell you, we had Elbow Road, which was about $53 million. We had budgeted, it came in like $108 million. And it's eating us alive. So we need to do, and we did this in the Winston-Salem project, Winston-Salem Road. It came in, 18 million, and let's rebid it again. And we rebid it 3 times, and we finally got it for $2 million less than the original bids. So we need to do some value engineering. We need to be rebidding. And one other thing is I came up with the idea we need a festival commission. We've got some festivals, and there's no controls on how they're spending their money and what the return of investments. So we still need to pass this. This festival commission could also help save us money.
Okay, so Mabinti gets the first question this time. Do you support or oppose requesting the General Assembly to abolish the Virginia Beach Development Authority?
I definitely do not oppose that. I support, I'm sorry, can you go back to the question?
Do you support or oppose requesting the General Assembly to abolish the Virginia Beach Development Authority?
I'm gonna be completely honest. I don't want to give you guys the wrong answer, so I'm gonna have to skip on. Once I get my answer, if anybody wants to contact me to know my response, I will give you my card number and you can contact me.
Okay. Leland, do you support or oppose requesting the General Assembly to abolish the Virginia Beach Development Authority?
Let's see. Support or abolish the Development Authority. I'll be in favor of, you know what? I don't want to give you guys an answer without knowing everything about it. So you know what? I'm going to hold off on giving you guys an answer there. But I can tell you that when it comes to developers, I would like to see accountability on council, and I would like to see that a policy that I would implement would be something of the nature of if you perform business in front of council, I think you should be prohibited from contributing to political campaigns. I think there's corruption inside of our city government that needs to be drained out. And that can happen by us paying attention to who's on what commissions, who's on what boards, and how they pertain to practicing business in front of council. So in terms of answering the exact question, I don't have the specific answer, but I can tell you that we do need responsibility and accountability from council and holding developers to that. And we can see in examples where, we have like the sports center, okay? Mismanaged, not held accountable, and it's costing us millions of dollars in taxpayer money. So these are failed promises by developers, and again, there's no accountability. So I hope that answers your question to the best of what I can give you guys. Thank you.
Okay. Bill?
I'm very pro-business. I do not support getting rid of the development authority. However, there is room for improvement. Okay, we have, in large part, a small group of people running the town. We have 500,000 people. One of the reasons I'm running is to try to get more regular citizens involved in our government. I'm not going to say we need to take back our government, but we do need to have some more representation. And so, in my opinion, the development authority could have a little more diversity. Okay, when I say diversity, I mean diversity of ideas, citizens. You also need to have a good mix of business people. So there's room for balance. But, I know the development authority just awarded a grant to, I believe, a Navy SEAL to build a new building over near Oceana. So I think they're doing some good things. There's room for improvement, more transparency, more accountability. But, there's a friction between growing our tax base and encroaching on our neighborhoods. And so we have to balance those needs.
Stacy?
I am not in favor of abolishing the development authority. I believe that it can be a good and productive and useful tool for the city. I don't believe that it's being properly managed, and I believe there's room for improvement there. As far as developers and the bashing of the developers, I will tell you this. We are facing an enemy much larger than that, and they're right on our doorstep. And that enemy is collective bargaining. And if we let collective bargaining get into the city, we're going to be paying for it in infinitum, forever. We need to. There's a saying: "The enemy of my enemy is my friend." The entire business community is against collective bargaining. We need to support that. We need to fight this enemy today and kill this before it becomes entrenched, because once they get in, they never get out. So let's focus on the enemy on our doorstep, and let's not lose sight of that.
Ryan?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Where did I put it? Oh, goodness.
It's working.
Right.
Yeah.
I wanted to
Do
hear
you
you say the
support
full
or
thing.
oppose asking the General Assembly to abolish the Virginia Beach development?
Well, no, I don't support the abolishment of the VVDA, but at the same time, that was already actually voted down. So I don't understand why that's even a question right now, honestly. But seriously, no. It's just like your constitutional rights. Okay, you ask, hey, do you want the VVDA to be a part of the city or not? Well, I don't know. Do you like the Second Amendment? Do you like the first one? Do you like the fourth one? You know what? A lot of people don't like gun violence, but it's sure nice to have when someone comes through your front door strong, isn't it? So, just like every other law that we have in this country, every other ordinance, take it with a grain of salt. That would be my answer to that. Okay, it's already been voted down, so that's not going to happen. But yeah, no, I support the VVDA, but it needs to have responsible leadership, and you can't just throw away an apparatus that's been responsible for so much economic prosperity in our city. And yes, it could benefit from some improvement, but at the same time, you don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. So thank you.
So as a couple have said here, no, I do not, I would not ask for the General Assembly, and as Ryan has pointed out, it's already been voted down. So they have done some good work. We have a city auditor. We put them through the audit process. We can work with them as far as what we feel, and that, y'all, that's what I've said. I was at the fire department senior staff table for 10 years. There was 8 or 9 of us around there. There's 11 of us around the table now. It's our job to hold those folks accountable. We have to set up the processes to make sure that we are protecting what is right for our citizens. That's why we're here, plain and simple. I look at it as clearing the hurdles and keeping things smooth and getting as much done as we can. Look, we're a great city. We all need to remember that. What we do, when we're all pulling in the same direction, we will go very far. I get it. I came from the fire department table. We'd sit around and argue, fuss, and fight all day long, right? But when the bells ring, we go out the door and we handle the call. That's what we need to remember here, and no matter which group we're talking to and how we're doing. Thank you.
Okay, Mike?
Thank you. No, I wouldn't support asking the General Assembly to abolish the BBDA, which has had some successes, but certainly also could use reform. But speaking of reform, one of the most important things that I believe I've done as a council member in the more than 5 years that I've served is to expand and to diversify opportunities for Virginia Beach citizens to serve on city boards and commissions. Anyone who has served with me will attest that I have been a tireless champion to make sure that we're bringing in new voices, not just appointing the same people over and over again, the same small pool of people to serve on city boards and commissions. The Development Authority should have expertise, yes, and does. It should also reflect the community that we serve. And whether it's Parks and Rec, Beaches and Waterways, Development Authority, Planning Commission, it should be comprised of the people who live and work in this city and make Virginia Beach great. Everyone should have an equal opportunity to participate. And when we ensure that we're appointing people like that, our community, to boards and commissions, it will serve us better because it'll be more connected to the people it's intended to serve.
LG?
Follow that. No, the Virginia Beach Development Authority, again, it's done some great things. We do have an amazing city here. We voted, best beach, best boardwalk, best beach cruise. We get all kinds of awards and accolades. So we're doing well as a city overall. It's efficiencies and transparency that we need to work on, and that spills over into almost every agency and commission that we have at the beach, and being more honest with ourselves about what we want and as a community, not always having to go and pay consultants and spend millions of dollars and waste a lot of money and a lot of time. There's also opportunity costs that are lost in those moments. Sometimes we need to know which way we're headed. And the comp plan is supposed to set us up for that, but we need to know a good deal when it's in front of us and a bad deal when it's in front of us. And I hope I can bring that to council. Thank you.
Rosemary?
I would oppose getting rid of the Development Authority. Everybody here has said we've got to bring in more businesses, more jobs to keep the residential tax rate low. And that's what the Development Authority does. They try to bring in more businesses, and they've been very successful. And the money that they use was actually recommended by John Moss years ago to use the cigarette tax. So the cigarette tax money goes to fund the Development Authority to give the grants so that we can compete with the other cities. Otherwise, they're going to go elsewhere. And sometimes we have to even do it to retain them. So it's really important work what they do, and it's a very diverse group. We've got a restaurateur, we've got a lawyer, we've got a CPA, we've got a farmer, we've got someone in the high-tech industry, someone in the big business of manufacturing. So there's a huge diversity. One guy owns a brick company. So there's a lot of diversity around that table to bring that expertise.
Okay, Cash.
So my name is Cash Green. I want you guys to know I'm representing District 7. And so I would oppose. I've studied them and I've followed them for 2 years now, and they are tremendous to us. Amazon, right? They are bringing in steel, right? And so I want you to know that the VBDA does great work. You just need to elect a city council member like Cash Green so I can continue that work. Thank you.
So just a correction on it, we were talking about the Virginia Beach Development Authority. So, and somebody said something about the Redevelopment Authority and Housing Authority is the one that was voted down, not the Virginia Beach Development Authority. Okay. Affordable housing, violating the green line. and overlay districts. What are your opinions? Leland, start.
Great. So developing beyond the green line and affordable housing are oxymorons. And the reason why I say this is because you can't have one with the other. If you're going to go ahead and develop beyond the green line, that means we're developing in undevelopable areas. That's going to cost millions and millions of dollars in sewage, waste, water, and utilities to be able to put affordable housing out there. So if you guys want a tax increase so that people can live here affordably, it's an oxymoron. So how do we tackle affordable housing? Well, we do it within the green line and use the city assets that are being underutilized that we already have. We have the entire, the SGAs, the strategic growth areas around Highway 264. We have 8 districts or 8 strategic growth areas that we can use city utilities or city property that's underutilized. We can use, we can work with developers to create affordable housing, and we can use city property with city-owned assets and utilize those to put basically a cap on what the rents or what the cost of living would be in those units. So instead of voting for luxury apartments, let's vote in and use what we already have and not develop beyond the green line.
Bill?
I don't support developing below the green line. Right now, there's a conversation, quite frankly, in the ITA on what to do for whether it's going to be light industrial or we stick with what we've already promised, which is to be passive recreation and things of that nature. So number one, I've already been pretty clear about that. Affordable housing, that's first a function of having somewhere to live and B, being able to afford that. There's a few different ways we can go about that. We talked about that earlier in the 15-minute city. I'm the only one that's gone on record to say we need to preserve single-family zoning in Virginia Beach. So we can't be doing 4- and 6-unit apartment complexes in our neighborhoods. Alexandria, Roanoke, Charlottesville, and another city in the state all have banned single-family zoning. What we do, it's very simple. Repurpose some of the aging strip malls we have. We did it in Kemps River. That's not a bad deal. Build, rezone parts of Virginia Beach Boulevard as it connects to the Virginia Beach bike trail. We got to do it responsibly, but the friction is, yes, we need to raise revenues, but at what expense of destroying the integrity of our neighborhoods?
Stacy?
Okay, the very first day that I put my platform on the internet, I talked about affordable housing. I talked about the need to redevelop within the strategic growth areas down 264, that we take these commercial properties that have seen outlived their useful life, bring them, take them down and redevelop them, repurpose them with affordable housing. As far as developing below the green line, okay, we really have a misconception. We have a green line, then there's a blue line. The blue line is that separates the rural part of the city. Between the green line and the blue line is the transition area. We already have development in the transition area. We have the municipal centers in there. We have the sportsplex. We have the hospital. We have neighborhoods. Any development in that transitional area needs to be sparse, spacious, judicially built. Okay, we're not going to develop subdivisions all through the south of the green line. We're not going to do that, and there's going to be no development south in the rural part of the city, south of the blue line. It's just not possible.
Ryan?
Microphone, but that's okay. I actually.
No, we gotta have the mic. You gotta have the mic.
There will never be development below the blue line, ever. I firmly believe that. Now, no, blue, meaning where there's nothing, like Blackwater. But as far as the green line goes, that's already occurred. The courthouse, several smaller developments. My thing is that, I can tell you from a military perspective, okay, because I work in the defense industry, a lot of young guys and gals who are going in the military right now, it's not like when I was in the Marine Corps, okay? They don't want to live on ships. They don't want to live in barracks. They actually want what's called BAH on right. That's basic allowance for housing, okay? They want to live out in town. So how's that going to happen? Well, they need to have a place to live out in town, right? And I know I've heard the word developers that got a bad connotation, but I'm telling you right now, we live in homes made by developers, we shop in stores made by developers, and the way that you solve this is let the market fix it. It's not affordable housing, it's housing affordability. And the way that you achieve that is by making sure that we have enough units for our sailors, Marines, soldiers, and airmen to live in. Thank you.
So along the same lines, I believe that for the green line and blue line, whichever one is that I would want the respect of what somebody's going to say on me and on council. We should respect Miss Henley and her constituents' wishes as well. I think that's important. I have a developer, I do also agree, it's not a bad word. We have a 1970 shopping center at Indian River and Military that I would love to see redeveloped. We could put in some mixed-use housing and some apartments and stuff, and we would do away with a lot of parking lot that would fill it in. So I think that's a fantastic way to work both sides of this equation. They're both important. But I will tell you, once again, you do not want your firefighters, your police officers, and your EMS providers, and really any city workers living in Moyoc, Isle of Wight, or wherever. We need them living in our city. If a storm comes through, like went through Florida the last 2 times, we're going to want them to be close and be able to get on the engines or get on the ambulances or get in the police cars. We cannot have them living out of our city. Thanks.
Mike?
Thank you. I think one of the most important things that we could do is to preserve and protect the agricultural and rural heritage and economy that exists in Virginia Beach. So I support farmers. I want to make sure that Virginia Beach's rural economy and heritage remains intact. The transition area is just that. As Mr. Cummings pointed out, there has been development, such as the municipal center in the transition area. But I think what we need to focus on is the areas that need redevelopment. And so we've discussed that, the aging shopping centers, some of the areas on the 264 corridor, where there can be opportunities to enhance density, to create housing affordability in Virginia Beach. But one of the best and most overlooked ways to make sure that housing is affordable in Virginia Beach is to make sure that our budget reflects our values, to make sure that our tax is low and we're responsible with taxpayer resources so that people aren't tax burdened and out of their homes.
LG.
Virginia Beach is at an inflection point, much like the 60s when Virginia Beach hit its borders. They said, let's take over Princess Anne. Now it looks like an easy route would be to go blowing past the blue line, the green line, and the ITA. The blue line, thankfully, will mildly protect itself. I'll pledge to make sure we don't go past it, but that if you've ever been down there and the wind switches, you might be stuck for the day. So you don't want to go put a bunch of density down there. Thankfully, that place will take care of itself a little bit. There's a lot of aging infrastructure here in the city. It's costing us a lot of money as taxpayers to try to maintain some of our aging infrastructure that the city owns itself. We need to revitalize our communities, not over-densify. I grew up in Shadowlawn back when it wasn't $1 million homes. I'm not advocating we put quadplexes in existing neighborhoods. We need to protect those communities. But there's a lot of opportunity to bring Virginia Beach forward, much like we did when we annexed Princess Anne. We don't need to go down what looks like an easy path, but will ultimately cost all of us millions and millions of dollars to expand infrastructure down to the south end of town. Thank you.
Rosemary.
I have always supported the ARP program, which is to buy up the development rights in our rural area. It's really, really important because that agricultural community is very important to us. However, we do need attainable housing. We've heard loud and clear from Oceana and our military that they've got to have a good place for their personnel to live. And they've got to be close to the bases, and they have to have attainable housing. And there's ways to do it, and we had a housing study, and they wanted us to pay $5 million into a trust fund. And I said, no, we can't do that. I mean, that's like pouring money down a well. But there are tools that we can use to be able to help get to where we need to go with this. It's going to be really important that we do that. But we're going to have to find a place so that if you work in Virginia Beach, you can afford to live here.
So you can come and live in College Park. We welcome developers when it comes to redeveloping College Park, right? That's my district. Have you been down there? So when it comes to building below the green line, I do not support that, right? I think we need more trees. But when it comes to mixed-use development, Welcome to College Park, District 7, cash green, vote.
Affordable housing is essential. I will work with developers as well as housing advocator to ensure that we increase our supply in units, as well as try to work to ensure that our zoning policy help and support low income.
Drink that water.
To ensure that but to ensure that there's an increase. I cannot talk right now.
So, take your time,
Okay. Basically, what I was just saying is that I want to ensure that affordable housing supports middle income as well as low income. Also, I do support our environment, and I want to make sure that that is being protected. But at the end of the day, our citizens need somewhere to live. I'd rather them live in Virginia Beach than anywhere else. Thank you.
Okay, so the next question goes to Phil, and we need to keep this brief, like maybe 15 seconds, so you get you on the record. Are you in favor of collective bargaining?
No.
Good.
No.
Ryan?
They've got mics.
Absolutely not. It's a signature issue of why I'm running. My opponent is in favor of it. He's voted in favor of it. I want to lower taxes. The way you do that is by preventing collective bargaining. We can give them raises without getting a union apparatus that will have confiscatory dues, that will take money from tax-paying citizens and shunt it into the Democrat Party.
Amen.
No.
That's right.
Give it the 15 seconds.
Not happening. So,
Here we go.
yes, I'm in favor of it. The city council had 11 people that were chosen to be on a task force. They looked at it. You had a police chief, retired police chief, a retired fire chief, and a past council member. They all said, no, I get 30 seconds. He called me out. So they all supported it. So they're experts. This red meat of it's going to cost thousands and millions of dollars is just wrong. This is not. This is not the longshoreman one where they can strike. If our folks strike, they can be fired. That's what Ronald Reagan did to the air traffic controllers. I'm telling you. Then if you feel this strongly about it, make sure. Hey, bud, keep your mouth shut. So if you're not on this panel.
You just be respectful and let the candidates answer the question. You don't have to agree with them.
If you believe in that, then it's our duty on this council to keep our employees where? Where do you think our employees should be paid? Number 7? Number 5? Because that's where we are right now. So it's our job to keep them at number 1. Number 2 or number 3, I don't care. But if you're not going to do that, then you have to give them the opportunity to make a living wage. They're not doing that right now. That's why they're going to Moyoc. That's why they're going to Isle of Wight and the other places. Thanks.
Mike?
I'd like 15 seconds to respond to that, please.
No, he didn't call you out.
Very well.
Mike?
Thank you. I'll make my comments very brief. I support the men and women, sorry gentlemen, I support the men and women who work as professionals to serve our city and serve our community. I support them. They know I have their back. That's why I've been endorsed by professional police officers, by the Fraternal Order of Police, and I'm supported by so many other people who work for the city and serve the city. They know I have their back. But we don't need collective bargaining and the untold millions of dollars of extra spending and taxes in order to have the backs of the people who serve us. That's why I voted no, but make no mistake about it. I support and believe in the men and women who serve as professionals to keep our city very great.
I'm committed to making sure, as Hutch said, our first responders, our city employees, and our teachers are not at the back of the pack in Hampton Roads on pay. I don't believe collective bargaining is the only way we can get there. We have to get our people back to the front of Hampton Roads with the highest cost of living, with the highest quality of life. We need to show the respect to those people who help us earn that title every year.
So it comes to a vote, yes or no?
No, ma'am.
No. Rosemary?
Well, I've been very clear. I've been on the record, I voted against it, and I will also say that the teachers union, the firefighters unions, and the Democratic Party, this is a very big issue for them. So they are going to be supporting the candidates that support unions. Yeah, you know, collective bargaining is just a fancy word for unions. Let's call it out. Let's say what it really is. It's really unions. Is that what we want in our city? I don't think so. I don't want it, and that's why this election is so important. And you need to count on the people who you know are absolutely not going to support collective bargaining.
So I'm grateful to be endorsed by the Police Benevolent Association, and I've learned from the minute that I accepted that I'm running for office to investigate, right? I don't want someone to tell me no because they said no, or someone to say yes. But after doing my investigation, council worked very hard to put in the step plan. They spent a lot of money to make sure that our firefighters, our police, and our professional EMS have the equipment that they needed. And I think that's a big win for our city employees. And for that, I'm going to have to say no on collective bargaining.
I'm in full support when it comes down to collective bargaining. I support our firefighters, police, our teachers. At the end of the day, I am a mother. Our kids are in school for about 8 hours. It's about 20 to 30 students in one room. At the end of the day, these teachers are providing for our kids. Then after coming home, they still are doing duty for our kids. I think it's fair to try to negotiate something that will be able to work for us, but still not increase our tax. I fully support collective bargaining.
Leland?
It is our city's fiduciary duty to oppose collective bargaining.
Yes.
We cannot pass that tax burden on to our constituents. That is a recipe for disaster, and we should not, in any circumstance, have collective bargaining. Now, does that mean I'm against fair wages and fair pay? No, I'm a business owner. Absolutely. My employees come to me and ask for a raise. What we need to do is take a conversation and have that conversation with our employees. And one of my creative proposals that I would like to see implemented would be to take 1 penny from the tip fund, the festivals, the meal tax, and contribute that to public safety and the teachers and all of the city workers, not just police, fire, and EMS that are very important on our worst days, but also the people that do the city electrical and our trash and all the city workers as a whole. Oppose collective bargaining in favor of fair work environments and wages. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to start now with closing comments with Stacy. You go first, and then we go this way.
Okay, there are people who say that endorsements don't matter. The people that say that are people that don't have any endorsements. I've been endorsed by the Republican Party, by our governor, by our lieutenant governor, by our attorney general, and there is a long list of people and organizations that have endorsed my campaign. They endorsed me because they know that I had the business acumen, I had the experience, I had the maturity to do this job. This gentleman has one endorsement. Comes from the incumbent who gave up the seat in less than a year to run for mayor. This other gentleman has one endorsement. Comes from a disgraced state delegate who went to prison for defrauding the United States government. And that's how he's running his campaign, an illegal campaign, by putting signs all over the city on city property in violation of city code.
Okay, Phil, you get an extra 30 seconds for your closing comments.
All right, first off, I'm very honored to have the support of the current councilman who voted to not raise our taxes, who also voted against collective bargaining. Some of the folks up here, I'll be honest, they supported a Democrat just a couple years ago who supported collective bargaining. Endorsements matter. I haven't been endorsed by everybody. I tell people the two most important endorsements you can get is number one, from your spouse, and then from the guy doing the job. Now, my opponent has a lot of endorsements, some of them including the mayor of Norfolk. I think all the endorsements should be put out there so everybody knows where those endorsements are. But to me, I've been really focused on the people since day one in January. It's really important. I just want the endorsement of the public so we can start getting more stuff done, paying the police, teachers, EMS more money, and do it, responsibly.
Do you need 30 seconds to respond to that, Stacy?
I've actually been endorsed by the person that held this position for 19 years. He's been on my advisory committee, and he has been a great resource. Very respected, Jim Wood.
Okay, Leland gets an extra 30 seconds since he was mentioned by,
Mike's just going to stay down there the rest of the place.
Do endorsements matter, yes or no? I'll let you guys answer that. I'm letting the people of Virginia Beach answer that question. I'm endorsed by many business owners, and on both sides of the aisle. I don't publish them or boast about them because they're not all of God's country, okay? You can be endorsed by Donald Trump himself. Those aren't the people of District 8. The people that are voting are the people I'm getting endorsements from. He wants to call out a friend of mine, Ron Villanueva. You can look him up. He served his time. He's not the reason I'm running the campaign. But let's call out your campaign manager over here, David Bartholomew. Give it up for him, right? It doesn't matter who's helping you. It matters what you care about and what the constituents care about. I care about the people. I care about my next door neighbors, the families, the business owners. That's my opponent that wants to bash and talk about whatever he wants to talk about me. He doesn't know me. He doesn't even know that I worked for him for 2 years. And his co-worker, who was his equivalent, donated to my campaign, if you want to talk about endorsements, okay? What matters is being a friend. I'm endorsed by my friends and my neighbors and small businesses. I am not endorsed and backed by the special interests that my opponent is. I am not endorsed by the man, and I quote, Bruce Thompson said, I 100% contribute to my candidates for access. One of my opponent's top donors. Talk about special interests and trusting your money. Let's not talk about, you know what, we'll leave it there. You guys make the decision. I'm endorsed by the people of District 8.
Okay, the mid-team.
I want to thank you guys so much for having me here today and for giving me your time. I have a passion, and I have led with my passion, and no one can take that from me. I care about this city, and I'm going to continue doing the work. I'm here to give you guys my time and my effort. I have put in so many time beyond measure. You know, when you have a leader, you want a leader that really cares, that really want to make an impact. And I'm that leader. Thank you. Vote for me.
Are we still going to be able to do our closing statement?
That is your closing statement.
My rebuttal?
Your rebuttal was 30 seconds. You didn't do a closing statement?
I was letting him do it, and then I thought we were going through.
I was giving you that 30 seconds with your 1-minute closing statement. Did you give him a minute and 30 seconds? You did? He said they did.
Diana, the back of the room needs to be quiet.
I mean, I like standing up here. I'll take the airtime.
Okay, Cass.
So let me explain District 7. It is a very talented place. We've got 46,000 people that live in District 7. I've got 2 high schools. I've got 2 middle schools. And I have 5 elementaries. I love Virginia Beach. And I'm passionate about District 7. I have the goal and passion for me to represent my district is this, and I mean what I say. My theme is people over politics because that's what I mean. I am going to get the money to District 7 because that's who I am. I am a negotiator, and this November, you'll see Cash Green in that seat. Thank you so much.
Rosemary.
Rosemary Wilson, running for re-election, District 5, and experience matters. Come January, we're going to have 5 people from last year, and at least 2 more people that are going to be brand new to the council. That is a sea change. And in 2 months from that time, they're going to be facing a $3 billion budget they're going to have to go through. And there's going to be a whole lot of other decisions that have actually been sort of pushed off until after the election because there's just too many crazy things going on. Experience matters, and these endorsements are important because we have been fully vetted by all these different groups. I have been endorsed by the Republican Party. I've been endorsed by the governor, the lieutenant governor, the attorney general, Delegate Barry Knight, Senator Christy Ukray, the Chamber of Commerce, the realtors, the PBA, the hospitality industry, the realtors. I mean, the list is right there. Like Stacy, I have a long list. So we have been thoroughly vetted, and that's why they gave us their endorsement.
LG.
First of all, thank you guys for having us out here tonight. Great group. Loved all the exchanges here. Born and raised in District 5, lived and breathed it my whole life. This new system, Virginia Beach is in a new place. Love it or hate it, the new system, the 10-1. It's time for change. It's time to understand what these new districts mean to us. You've got to know every inch of that thing. The reason I ended up throwing my name in the hat the last day, maybe the day before the last day, is all the decisions that are being pushed off until after the election. When the aquarium was being put on hold for decision and later stalled out, the money going into all of the projects out of the oceanfront, the capstone project going next to the convention center, 1,000 apartments. If anybody's gone there for graduation, it's already a headache. My business is 2 blocks away from that. If I win, I promise you, the locals' voice will be on council. Tourism is incredibly important. My entire life has existed in the gray between the locals and the tourists, and I hope that is what can bring me over the line here to win and earn your vote and keep Virginia Beach growing. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm Michael Berlucci, and I serve as a council member from District 3. And I'm a candidate today to make sure that we keep Virginia Beach affordable, that we keep Virginia Beach safe, that we deliver on the flood protection that we promised. Obviously, that's an important issue for Windsor Woods, Princess Anne Plaza, the Lakes. You also heard these kind of, sensational, shiny headline issues that we discussed today, and they're important. But you know what else is important? Having a council member who shows up. Having a council member who answers your email and says, yes, let's get that road restriped in time for a school opening at Windsor Woods Elementary. Let's get that new school crossing. Let's get that paint restriped. Let's fight City Hall if we have to get that unpermitted cannabis lounge that's impacting the neighborhood shut down. Let's fix that pothole and that sinkhole in our neighborhood right down the street. Let's fix that swing that's broken in our neighborhood park so that it's safe for young people to play in. I'm that council member, and if you need an example of it, just look. My opponents are here. I'm here. I show up. I answer your emails.
Time's up.
And time is up. Thank you.
Hey everybody, kind of what Councilman Berlucci was just saying. I felt it was important to come out here to y'all tonight and share my vision of what I think is important. And like I said, and I do mean it, is that I've been around a fire department table all my life, arguing, fussing, and fighting, but when the bell rings, we all pull in the same direction. I think that's important. You can let one issue define us that really even work together on everything else that we've talked about tonight. And I promise you, I believe VBFD Blue and City Blue. It's what it is. It's been in my nature my whole life. I've been a part of it for 35 years, y'all. So working with the other ones, working with the directors, trying to make things better, traffic calming in our neighborhoods, working with other council members, taking care of that. The large potholes, sometimes they're sinkholes, water runoff, all those things that really matter. We dealt with a lot of big stuff tonight, but a lot of us, we really want to deal with stuff that's in our neighborhoods, right? And that's what we're here for. And that's what I promise you I'll keep doing. Thanks.
Ryan.
Thank you. So, we've heard about endorsements. Real quick, I'll label them off in a snap rate. I've been endorsed by 3 governors, Youngkin, Allen, and McDonald. I've been endorsed by Congresswoman Kiggins. I've been endorsed by the Chamber of Commerce. I've been endorsed by Senator DeSteph. I've been endorsed by Senator Newcraig. All right, this is all impressive. I've been endorsed by the Thin Blue Line. When you're going through a campaign, you're going to go, like Vice Mayor Wilson said, you're going to go through the steps. You're going to meet with all the organizations. We've all done that. Running a campaign, and that word campaign is special, it's like a war. All right? It's hard. You got to trudge through it. You got to get in the trenches. For me, you know what the most important endorsements were? My fellow sailors and Marines who I've served with saying, you got this. My father, who died on Father's Day, saying, you got this, boy. That was his last words to me. Okay? I take this personal. I am a son of Virginia Beach, and I can tell you right now, I don't have time for bull crap, and I know neither do you. And you put me on that council, you're going to get a hard-working, blue-collar guy that wears steel-toe boots, blue jeans with holes in them, and T-shirts to work. I will work tirelessly for you, just as much as I do for those Hornets at Oceana. Thank you.
January is the election of the board of Virginia Beach Tea Party. Okay? You have to be a member to serve and to vote. And that's 3 months prior to January. This is 6 months. Everything to do. Also, we have a doctor spot tomorrow at the Pembroke Lake Circle. And lastly, we have the 50-50 here. So let me draw it so that
We're going to have 2 drawings. The first one for money, which is $41, and the second one for the book.
Okay. And don't forget to help out the
Diana.
Hurricane Helene.
Take the mic, please.
You can't hear me? I'm loud. Don't forget to support the Hurricane Helene victims. Donate. Okay, the places you can donate were in the newsletter. Okay,
Okay, this is for the money.
Oh, no, I mean...
048.
Backyard chickens. Get some more.
America in perspective.
116. 116.
Use the mic.
Right there.
Use the microphone.
You might need this in your job.
Get all the mics. Turn them off.
Get all your questions. There they are. Go ask
There should be 4. Oh, no. Shit.